Welcome on AM Talk 10. Thank you for making time to be with us. And as we discourse on matters of national concern, Galamsey and the burning of excavators, the double salary saga, and the allegation that indeed there was some scratching of people's backs in there, among other national issues. We'll be having Alhassan Suhuyini, Member of Parliament at Tamale North, also a member of the Lands and Forestry and Appointments Committee of Parliament. Dr. Stephen Amwa, he is a frequent face on this platform. He's Member of Parliament for Inshaya, so member of the Finance and Privileges Committees of Parliament. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Good morning.
Again, just this happened, a few days ago when I interacted with a former Deputy Trades Minister. We were having a brief discussion right before going on air, and it all has to do with how members of Parliament have to cough up certain sums of money. And I've heard it said that some people need between 5,000 and 10,000 cedis every month just to be able to pay or dole out money to certain people. I feel that fosters corruption, and it will not let this cycle of corruption stop. What do you think we can do about it, Honorable Suhuyini?
Well,
is this something you face?
Let me say good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. I think that it's something every person in our society who seem able to have a good life faces in different forms. I mean, businessmen I know will tell you their stories of people who walk in every now and then seeking one favor or the other. I'm sure even yourself, just by virtue of being on TV, people from your community, people you attended school with, people you played, gutter to gutter with, ask for favors every now and then. So I think we have a dependent society, and maybe that dependency is also motivated by the need that we cannot ignore. So what we face, I will say, perhaps the aggravated form of what almost everyone who seems successful in our society comes face to face with. And it's also because we are the more accessible ones. And again, we put ourselves out there that we want to assert society. So when society have needs, it is logical that they come to you. But yes, I agree that sometimes...
Did you just say it is logical that they come to you?
I mean, if you put your out there that you want to help society, and then you campaign to be elected to help society, it is logical that when society have needs, whether it is a communal need or it's a personal need, that they come to you. It's logical because you put yourself out there. But I'm saying that I understand that sometimes it makes you wonder how God feels, because we all look up to him for all kinds of favors. So the only difference is that we tend to understand when we pray and our prayer requests are not granted at the times that we wanted. But when it comes to individuals, especially politicians, when we are not able to meet the requests of our constituents, it can be that depressing. It also has political consequences, and
I guess the political consequences are what you fear the most, because the reality is that people will come to you. There's a funeral, they want you to do something. There's an outdooring, they want you to do something. If you don't assist, over time, word goes around that Asemesi, this MP is, tight-fisted, and you might get kicked out of Parliament. That's your reality, right?
Yeah, that's the political consequences. That's part of it. But to be honest with you, I can speak for myself. I do my very best every time without fearing that, I will lose or win an election. I think it is by the grace of God that, we are where we are. That's my orientation, because let me give you why I believe that is the case. If you come to my constituency, almost 30,000 people voted for me. Almost 30,000. But trust me, within the 4 years that I will serve as MP, I will not have the opportunity to meet the needs of even up to about 10,000. The about 30,000, maybe about 6,000 or 5,000 will even wish to have direct access with me and seek help. So it tells you that what the little I'm able to do to those who come into contact with me really doesn't have much of an impact on whether I win or not. It's by the grace of God, you know. So I am not one that sees losing as the consequences and for which I do the things that I do.
At least we know.
But you see, they say good name is better than riches.
Right.
You know, so sometimes, because you may not even have the opportunity to tell your story, it gets frustrating, you know, and so you are sometimes pushed to do certain things that you otherwise wouldn't have done, because politically, if you don't do it, your name, like you said, is just muddied, you know, and you don't have the opportunity to correct it. But most of the time, as politicians, and I'm using myself as an example, what motivates us to keep going is the impact that you are able to make on lives and how that changes either a family or a community and the appreciation that you get. So when you are downhearted by some of these very unreasonable demands and requests, you wonder if you should quit. Then you remember others who genuinely need your presence, and you feel that perhaps God put you here to for those people and not for those who are being unreasonable.
Okay. Let me come to you, Honorable Amoah. And we know what a regular member of parliament earns. Assuming you were the one, like we've heard, where people are coming to you and you are expected to exhaust about 5,000 to 10,000 every month, how would you be able to?
That is even on the low side. I'll give you an example. Someone came to me one time.
Let's put it on.
Someone came to me one time, and I mean, this is a story many of my constituents, I mean, my executives especially know. And the request was that he wanted me to help him put up a foundation of a house in a waterlogged area. He bought the land in a waterlogged area. He's seen that putting up the foundation is going to be very costly. So he has prepared, he has all it takes to finish the house. But his problem now is the foundation. He wants me to help him do the foundation in a waterlogged area. A constituent, that's what he wants from me as his MP. I mean,
were you able to help him?
Well, I couldn't do what he asked for, but I gave him audience. I tried to make him understand why I'm not able to do it. But the support that I had, you know, few bags of cement I could give, I gave out to support, you know, his venture. And you'll be surprised. This doesn't come from just uneducated people. Look, I had a group of people come to me one time. They had built their homes. In fact, when I went to see the homes, their homes were nicer than my home. And their request, that was even before I became an MP, when I was campaigning in 2015 as, you know, to be a candidate of my party. And they wanted me to help them buy 20 electric poles, each costing about 6 million Ghana cedis. So they could
at 600
Ghana cedis. So they could extend electricity to their homes that they had built. And their homes were nicer than mine, by the way. And these were workers who had come together, you know, because I was campaigning to be an MP. They thought it was something they could, you know, ask of me. At the time, they were not saying I should perhaps lead them to the ECG or VRA to help.
They wanted you to do it.
They wanted me to do it out of my pocket. They had actually calculated the cost and told me where I could purchase it because they had someone who was selling it. So I looked at them and I said, I'm thankful that you are educated. I'm thankful that you are workers. Let's have a discussion of our governance system. We did. I don't know if they appreciated my attempt to educate them on why I thought their request was wrong. But in the end, we had a civil discussion and they left.
Like I was mentioning to you, Mr.
I have two shots now. Can I take this?
You have two shots now. Well, your very own Director General for the Ghana Health Service says, even after the two shots, we should still wear our masks. So we are all going to observe the protocols. If you were in the United States, in certain states, per what the CDC has said, maybe you would have been able to take it off. So please bear with us, Mr. Amoah. I was mentioning, we know an MP's salary. more or less. I mean, we can strike an average. Yet you were even laughing when I was talking about 5 to 10,000 a month. What has your experience been? How do we get out of this? What do you think ought to be done? Very quickly.
It will be very difficult for me to give a figure because it might be giving wrong interpretation.
But people come to you.
Oh my God, it's not the way you think. I don't know I don't know the differentials or the dynamics of other constituencies. And even me, before I became MP, I've been coming on air, playing interface role as a politician for about 25 years. I used to come here when they were doing Crossfire. You remember those days?
Right.
Yes, I was with Samson in Kumasi before he moved to Accra. So you can imagine in terms of having visibility. So I've been experiencing these things for far too long. But when you become MP, it becomes an obligation. And the situation is that whether you have it or not, almost every week, demands for school fees, accommodation, hospital bills, this, marriage, that you take away from. I shan't tell you, funeral cry, they don't talk about it. Because sometimes, one of the weeks, just weekend alone, you need 10,000. Because you have about 7 different funerals. You are MP, you'll be expecting to pay not less than, in fact, minimum will be 500. That is normal ones. But every day, and these days, bro, when you move to filling station, people will rush you, give me money. From church, people will rush you, give me
even
money.
at the filling station.
I'm telling you this. Anywhere you go, every place you meet people. So the question you ask to me is so critical. How do we balance it? Maybe off air, I'll tell you sometimes some of the things we do at the peril of our own lives, financially.
At the peril of your lives.
Yes. But if you don't have...
Just to be able to take care of your constituents.
You see, when you don't have money, and if somebody asks me for something and I can't provide, I get hurt because I have this strong passion giving. That one is a fact. And of course, for them not to also destroy your image and lie about you. And they say, oh, they don't look after the grassroots. But ask yourself.
But that would also be pushing our members of parliament to corruption.
100%. So what I'm saying, that is what this country, I always say that we have to redefine our corporate focus. This country has a huge problem. Fundamentally, if we don't address all these basic variables or dimensions, boss, you will do everything here that you people are doing to help push Ghana forward. It will always be a problem because it's like a cycle. I'm sure one day you should give 2 hours for every MP to come and talk about what he's going through, or even other appointees, DCEs, ministers, deputy ministers, CEOs, deputies. I think the problem is that for about 50 years, political leaders and politicians, those who have the mandate to lead this country, they failed us. That's my opinion. Maybe we are trying, but the fact is, if we have all these kinds of fruits in our country, things that do not require complex value chain in terms of production, mango, pineapple, orange, they are so plenty that we can produce million liters of them every month if you buy the requisite machines. And that will create jobs for tens of thousands of graduates for about 40 years. They can plan their retirement with. And we are not able to do that. And they are not having money. And they are dying. They will beg you for money. So that is why this fixed thing. It's funny. I'm not saying it's wrong asking the government to fix it. But if you ask a government to fix something who has been there for about 60 years, the time we are having COVID, I have a problem. Other than that, I have nothing against asking us to fix it. I think we need to repackage this country. Other than that, my brother, NDC will come, NPP will come, you go and bring Tony Blair. It will not work because you go outside your house, you see mango, pawpaw, pineapple, coconut, everything. These are not oil sector that you need complex technology. And we cannot create sustainable industries, viable ones that we can consume and export some and create jobs for the youth. What will happen? And it's all because of Cinderella syndrome.
Cinderella syndrome?
Yes.
Which is what?
I think Africa. I said this in, I think, Munich. And a white lady was crying because I listed opportunities in Africa, listed things we have in Ghana. I said we have forest, semi-forest, savanna, semi-savanna, coastal belt. In terms of skill component of our labor force, we have good engineers, good doctors, good that. So what is the problem? That converting raw materials, just fruit, You squeeze it and put preservative. It's free juice. What we need is a bigger machine to produce more and consume and export. So what's helping? What's causing our problems?
I guess that even feeds into one district, one factory, and the sort of things.
Just our inability to configure. I mean, in terms you call something as a core competence and key resources, like making sure that we avoid square pegs in round holes. We can't speak the truth. You can't speak out Ghana here.
Why?
Whether it's NDC, MPP, or CPP. The fact is, sometimes those who can strike are made defenders. And some of the defenders are on the bench. This is a problem. I mean, let's face it. But I think for about 40, 50 years, if we have been able to create enough jobs.
Right.
Because when we were traveling outside, we had traveled before I even went to university. UK. You fill forms, you want to start. Why? Because there are sustainable industries. Without education, you do packaging, you do cleaning, you do labeling. So even if you are not educated, you get job to do. But we don't have jobs. So your neighborhood, those who voted for you, even those who did not vote for you, as somebody told a friend of mine, MP, that, Honorable, let me speak in Tree so that you get what I'm talking. Forgive me.
Please go ahead.
Or say, Honorable, me you the hospital, my car won't you? They say, oh, I come and none can him now. Okay, Dawson. You see, somebody told me he has built up to the lentil level. He begs me I should come and compete and roof it. So the problem in our country, those who are begging, in a way, it's not their fault. The MPs who are struggling to pay, it's not that because we want to win power. But the fact is, a system has been created for about 60 years. There is poverty in our country. People are poor, they are dying. There is no job. Somebody finishes KNUST, Polytechnic, after 10 years, he's not working. He has gotten typhoid. What do you want the person to do? I am saying that we need to redefine our corporate focus. This country, very soon, will all begin advocacy that other people may not like. But it has to happen. Because I don't understand that we have every kind of timber. Okay. Sapele wood, wine, rosewood, everything. We have to import second-hand wood product. Right. Wood product, pam, you get it. Why do we import? So we need to redefine our corporate focus, redefine the way we want to build this socio-economic structure, and create sustainable jobs that somebody can finish and say that if I've been employed for 40 years, I can plan my package. Right. If not worse, a time may come, oh my God, somebody will come and ask you for something that ring for wedding, somebody will come and ask you.
Even ring for a wedding.
Well, yes. I am surprised they haven't asked him yet. But you see what he's suffering is
we really have to move on. So I'm going to give you a maximum of a minute and a half.
I think what he's suffering, and that's what brought about this discussion this morning, is what our seniors in Parliament will call the first-timer syndrome.
First-timer syndrome.
First-timer syndrome.
You come and you must pay your due.
Baptism of fire. And you know the difference between being an MP and doing what you do, and doing it before you become an MP, is sometimes the appreciation. The appreciation levels are different. When you are not an MP and you are doing it, the appreciation level is different from when you become an MP. And I have said that, look, I don't think that one can actually be in politics for long if you don't have a giving heart. Because it is that
you don't have a giving heart. You can't be in politics for long.
Especially in Parliament. Sure. If you don't have a giving heart.
That's a fact.
And like I said earlier, and I agree with my brother when he also made that point, that our society is in need. And so it is logical that these things are happening. And I agree that then calls for, some restructuring of the way we do the things that we do. But maybe I'll end with one advice for my brother that I got from an elderly person in my constituency who told me after my victory in 2016, went to thank the community. And he said, Honorable, you see, we are like an elderly person. He said, we are like children who do not know that the father doesn't have.
Sure.
So even though you have won and your party lost, we know you as our father. And so,
so it doesn't matter.
We will always come to you for all that we need because we think you have. But my advice to you is that do the best that you can. Don't ever go and steal or embarrass yourself because of our demands. But as for our demands, they won't cease.
They will always come.
I'll end on this discussion on this note. May God be with you both.
Thank you. Amen.